What about now? Can you hear me now? What about now? Okay. So I just needed to turn down my I just needed to turn down my phone. Sorry, y'all. Because the way I had this set up is like I'm on my computer, but I'm on my phone too because I can't look at my phone. I can't see your messages from my computer while I'm on live too. So there's a funky way I have to like basically turn the sound off on my computer and on my phone, but I still have to keep the volume on the Zoom. So I'm sorry. Talking to y'all, but not talk. So Sydney, Mercy, hi. Whoever else is on, let me know you're here. Because I see Sydney, I see Mercy in the chat. Let me know you're here in the chat. So we had three resumes we're gonna do the night tonight. As I said before, because I was on mute, people are outside with leaf blowers, so you may be able to hear them. Hopefully they don't come near the house, but they were right across the street and it was really loud. So I don't know why they're out there at 6 o'clock. Don't know why they're out there at 6 o'clock. But anyway, it is 6:05. And so we're gonna go through three resumes today. Um, Thank you all for the ones who submitted. Sydney, I know you're one of them who submitted your resume. So thank you for being brave brave enough to submit. Because I know it can be a little stressful having other people see your resume and getting feedback in person, but I am really here to help everybody. Um, so I was gonna go in order. So I wanna is Anit, let me see who else I'm doing tonight. So I'm doing Sydney, Aninditha, and Rika. Is Aninditha here? And is Rika here? If any of you are here, let me know. Because usually I like to go in the order that I said I'm gonna go. But I see that Sydney is in here, and I don't want Sydney to have to wait the whole time since she's here. So, Mercy, you submitted yours. I may not get to yours tonight, but you know what? If you are here, let me see. Hold on. Mercy, I'm looking up to see when you submitted yours. Oh, okay. You submitted yours a few days ago. Mercy, since you're here, I might just go ahead and jump on yours. So you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go through the ones who submitted first really quickly. And then Mercy, Sydney, you're here. So I'm gonna see if I can get to yours too. So I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Let me, I'm gonna start with Ananditha because she was the first to submit. And so I'm going to share my screen. And Aditha, if you come on, please let me know if you have any questions in the chat. But for right now, I'm gonna just do what I do, and hopefully you see the replay. All right, so can everybody see? I just got it pulled up. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right on into it. So, and Aditha, at first glance, love the fact that it's only one page. You all know how I feel about multiple resumes, so um I do wish that you had made your headings, like your education and your experience, bolded because it was kind of hard to tell where the sections were. Like you bolded your positions, but you didn't bold your sections. So the sections kind of got lost. So if since you bolded it here, what I would tell you is just maybe underline it just so you can break it up a little bit because I was like, it kind of seemed like it was all running together without having those section breaks. Okay, so Ohio Wesleyan Bachelor of Arts, Community Science and Data Analytics, minor in Dance and Geography, Dean's List, Honors, OWU Big Problem Startup Challenge runner up, Next Genius Full Tuition Scholar, Florence Price. Okay. So you have a lot of, and Aditha, you have a lot of honors. Part of me wants to put those someplace else, but this is fine too. I mean, it's as long as they can see and you just graduate. Oh, you'll be graduating next year. Okay. Okay. All right. So experienced data science researcher, Data Hub, conducted comprehensive data analysis on footprint, Ohio gathering, and okay. So again, I've said this before. When you are saying that you say you analyze data or you created some type of spreadsheet or you did something, I like to see the type of software you used in the bullet point and not just under skills so that I can know how you use it. So if you did a regression analysis, I would like you to know what type of data, what type of statistical what's the platform, whatever programming you used. I haven't done the statistics in a long time, so I don't even know what's out there now. But like if it was SAS, for instance, like perform SAS regression analysis on whatever data, that could be totally wrong. I haven't done data in a long time. But you see what I'm saying? Like, tell me what kind of skill or what type of technical software you used for your regression analysis because then I can say, oh, she knows how to use SAS. She knows how to use whatever the next thing is, SPSS. That's probably old, but whatever it is. So I would say to put that there. Auditor of the State of Ohio, Data and Information Technology intern. Glad to see you have some internship 590 public entities across, I love the numbers, gathered and analyzed data for 5,900 public entities across Ohio counties. See how you use SQL, Python, and R scripts? You see how you have that in that bullet point? That's what I was looking for in this bullet point for regression analysis. Data cleaning, valid risk assessment, accuracy. So your bullet points are a little long too. I would try to make them a little more succinct. Um, when we go down to like the third line, that's a little too much for a bullet point. So you either want to put another bullet point in there and separate it out or shorten how you say what you're going to say. Because again, less than 10 seconds that they're taking to review your thing, your resume. So you want to make sure that you're giving them what they need with the least amount of words as possible. All right, partner with audit team to resign. Going back to what I said on the previous slide, you see what you did here? Partnered with audit teams to redesign validation workflows, reducing processing time by 30%. Put the impact first. So this reduces processing time by 30%. That should be the beginning of your sentence. Reduced processing time by 30% by partnering with audit teams to redesign. Hit them with the impact, hit them with the numbers first, right? So you can grab their attention. Develop five power. Again, this bullet point is a little long. I didn't read the whole thing. You want them to be able to read the whole thing, so it's a little long. So I would make that a little shorter. Is Dr. Melissa Allen Dumas like somebody who's like well known in the research space? Because if not, I would take her name out. Um, I've never really seen anybody's name in anybody else's resume, but because you could just say partnered with principal researcher. But if she's like a name you wanted to drop, or I would lean toward taking it out. You can drop her name in the interview. but I would just say partner with principal researcher. See how you did it here where you used ArcGIS? Yeah, yep. This is what I want to see. Collaborated 10 conference. Do you not want to say that you perform geospatial analytics first? I think I would say that first. All right, let's see. Technical projects, end-to-end ML pipeline, deployed end-to-end. Again, selected as top 24 projects. That should be first. That should be the first thing I see. And then tell why you were selected. Say same thing for bullet point number one. Secured 1,500 in funding. That should be the first thing. Secured 1,500 in funding by conducting a comprehensive market research pitch or pitch competition. These bullet points should actually be really short because these are very strong. And so those are the main things that you want to focus on. How you kind of got there, you could tell later, but start with the impact first. Develop elements. These are really long too. Short, these need to be shortened. I don't know if you need to put another bullet point. I don't know how much of this is important, but they're very long. And so I don't want to read them, which means the recruiter probably doesn't want to read them either. Try to shorten them. Okay. Technical skills, frameworks. Okay. These are fine. These are very specific to, whatever job you're looking for. I know you said I think you want a data scientist, so maybe I would probably, depending on who I was applying for, just put in the ones that they want, but just to shorten it. But you do have room to make it a little bit shorter because your bullet points are really long. So when you shorten them, that'll give you a little bit more white space because even though it is on one page, you don't have a lot of white space, which makes it a little bit harder to read. So shorten your bullet points, make sure you lead with impact. Okay? All right. So I'm going to go to the next one. I'm going to stop sharing real quick. And I am going to go through Rika's. Rika, are you here? Rika, if you are here, let me know you're here. If not, hopefully you can see this on a replay. But I like you all to be here so that you can ask me your questions, so you can tell me what you were thinking. Because again, I'm just kind of seeing this. I'm seeing it just like a recruiter is seeing it, right? So you can't necessarily fill in the holes, but if you're here, we can talk about the holes, right? But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and do Rika's. All right, so Rika started. Let me see something. Rika has not graduated yet. Okay, so Rika, because you have not graduated yet, I am going to tell you to put your education at the top because they're gonna want to know, if they're looking for somebody with a degree, they're gonna want to know immediately, like, oh, you don't, she doesn't have her degree yet. So if you are, I usually say if you're 3 years into your career, you can move that education down, 3 to 5 years experience, you can move the education down because it can be assumed that you have um a bachelor, at least a bachelor's degree. But if you haven't graduated yet, you always want to have your education at the top. Okay. So I would just tell you to move your education to the top. Relevant work experiences. Let's see. Rika, also, your name is really small on like I like the white space. I like that you have one page. The white space looks really good, but your name is really small. And I would make it bigger. All right, so relevant work experiences, Mansfield Lab, Barnard College, researcher, process, cross street, identifying 20. Okay, so I see how you have bolded some of the things in your resume. I don't have a problem with that, but I have seen people who review resumes say they don't like it. So with that, I'll be on the safe side and probably tell you not to bold those things. Um, because some people, it just really turns some people off. It doesn't bother me per se. Like, they're probably not going to not hire you because of that, but just to be on the safe side, I would lean toward, I don't have a problem with it, but I would lean toward unbolding and just keeping your bullet points unbolded. All right, so plus it's like you just highlighted computational pipeline. Okay, so how's that significant? So yeah, I would just keep everything unbolded. All right. So again, lead with the impact. Identify 20 plus novel marker of brown ad adipocyte differentiate. I used to know how to say these words, but I've been away from STEM too long. By processing and integrating 20,000 cells. Okay. Develop computational pipeline, combining RNA. Okay. Compose, cosmics, and this is some very technical stuff. Rika, I can't remember exactly what you said you were looking for. I think you said you were looking for some a science position, but these are very technical. So unless there's a researcher reading your resume and not just like an HR person, this may be a lot for them. Um, Sometimes in the science world, we have to say stuff in general terms just so that it comes off a little bit easier to swallow because even with me with a STEM background, just reading this is kind of like a bunch of words, really long words. And I'm still trying to figure out like exactly what your like skills are. I see this part you call co-author manuscript published. Yeah, so this is a big thing. I would probably move it a little farther up, but what I'm saying is it depending on the job because we can't assume all the time that the person reading does the job that we do, especially if it's a large company where they're going to go through HR first. These type of like very technical bullet points may be not clear enough to sell the skills or tell the story of the skills and the experience you have. But that's just my point of view on that. Y'all let me know what y'all think about it in the comments because yeah. I don't know if anybody else here is science or has a science background, but enhancing detection of spatially localized progenitors, integrated data using tech, that's a lot. That's a mouthful. But yeah. Okay. So empirical regional center, Barnard College student fellow, mentored 50 students across 10 disciplines. Love that. In advanced data analytics. All right. So I know we like to say, I know people always say to put what like the outcome of what you did, but sometimes the outcome is implied. Okay? So if you mentored students, like we probably know that you somehow improve their either understanding, their skills, their knowledge. And so you may not have to say that you enhance that you may not have to say this part of enhancing their ability to design. I'm starting to lean away from putting that in there just because I know clear it with let me say this with the job market being what it is and there's so many resumes they have to go through that they're taking so short of a time to read. I'm just trying to get them to like to grab them. This mentored 50 students across 10, that's already gonna grab me. But I'm probably not even gonna get to the end of this sentence. Like this has already impressed me enough. So I'm inclined to be like, I'm gonna take this part out. I like to see that you mentored the students and exactly what you mentored in them. And I can assume it's implied that you, by mentoring them, you help them. So you don't have to necessarily say that. It's a matter of taste, but again, knowing that they're not going to take a lot of time, I'm just, yeah, trying to get to the thing. Okay. We at 6:23. Okay. Instructed students in our, okay. Instructed students created tailored learning paths, interactive tutor. Okay. All right. So you taught. Okay. Partnered with fellows and staff, expanding. Okay. These are good. How many students did you teach? I would add that, like how many students were you responsible for instructing? Okay, analyze whole genome, data level transparent, bash scripts. Okay. Relevant project experience. I, I don't know exactly what this is, but so I'm gonna just leave it alone. Again, this is a mouthful. So we want to we want to make it as simple as possible, right? And them to know exactly what you did. So I would say try to simplify it a little bit. For your skills, this is a lot too. I don't, let me see. Do you need these things in the parentheses? Because I'm inclined to tell you to take them out. So look, for your data visualization tools, I would just probably take that out and just name them ArcGIS. Otherwise, I would, yeah, because this is a little much too. But yeah, so Rika, overall, it's easy to read. Outside of the bullet, the bolding, I would take that out. It's easy to read, but easy to read in the sense that it's easy to view. However, the language is very, very technical. And unless this is going straight to a researcher that does the work you do, it may be somewhat confusing. So my overall message to you is to try to take that technical information and transform it into something that is more digestible to the general audience and make your skills and experience clearer to a general audience, like someone who may be reviewing your in HR. Okay? All right, so I'm going to stop sharing Rika's. Y'all still there with me, Sydney, Mercy? So Sydney, I'm about to get to yours. So I don't know if you, hopefully you're still there. Let me know you're still there. Say, hey, 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 hey. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're still here because Sydney, I'm about to jump on you. And I don't want you to miss it. Let me know you're still here. Give me a thumbs up or something. Drop something in the chat. Let me know you're still here. Mercy, I probably will have time to get to yours tonight too. So, because Sydney, I'm about to share yours. But yeah, so Mercy, I see it. Okay. All right. So, yeah, but if you all are in technical fields, we got to be a little bit mindful of how we're writing. Um, Everybody can't swallow technical information, and even like I said, me having a STEM background, that was a lot for me. Um, so I know that being able to translate very technical information to something for the general audience is a skill, but we got to try to do it when it comes to our resume. All right, Sydney girl, it might be Sydney, you might be alone. I'm sorry. Sydney, the Sydney side door are with us. I'm sorry. Okay, we are here. Sydney Greer. Okay. You just graduated in May. Congratulations from the University of Central Florida with a bachelor's in business administrative marketing, minor in digital media. Um, bachelor in business administrative marketing, digital media. Okay. Do you have one page? Okay. Yes. All right. Professional experience. Hearst Television, June 2025. Social media producer. Okay, Cindy, you were the one who wanted to do the social media stuff. So did you for these all three of these things? That was that like your title or like because this is a was it a fellowship and then you as the fellow you or was it an internship? You see how you got me a little confused with all three of these here? So yeah, but anyway. Okay. So produce, written and edit, produce, wrote and edited promotional videos for both on-air broadcast and digital platforms while adhering to how many videos did you do? Do you have an estimate of how many videos you produced and edited? Because I would add that design graphics and created short form videos to post on various social media. So it was a fellowship and an intern. Okay. Because I'm trying to figure out how to, because that was a little confusing because I was like, did she do an internship? I might just say creative services intern and Emma Bowen fellow and take the social media producer out because I don't know. It's clear that you produced things. So I don't know. Because it was just a little confusing for me. But like I said, maybe that's something you can clarify. So design graphics and created short form videos to post on various social media that increase overall engagement by 12%. You know what I'm gonna say, Sydney, right? Start with increase overall engagement by 12% by designing graphics and creating short form videos utilizing trend analysis. Start with the impact, grab them immediately. All right, assisted in live event coverage by gathering footage and images, setting up fan interaction areas, and capturing behind the scenes results. How many people were at this live event? Because that's something you can use to, um, just show your impact. So if this was like a 500 person live event, attendees, that's something that shows your impact. Like, wow, this was a huge undertaking. So make sure you put that in there. You said your manager changed the, what is it? Changed the title. My little thing is in the way throughout the internship. So yeah, so I would just, like I said, I would just probably stick with creative services intern and Emma Bowen fellow and just say and Emma Bowen fellow, not slash, just and. Um, but yeah, for this live event, how many people were there? Put that in there so you can show her your impact. All right, so Addition Financial Arena, March 2023, May 2025, guest services and parking services. Okay. Supported and enforced policy procedure, ensure maintains that manage and directed traffic and parking, ensuring arena. How big was the arena? I guess, maybe if they're in the area, they know it's a large venue, but numbers always help. So if you can put in numbers, if you can put in like the number of events you worked, the number of attendees, um, approximately how many people you all had on the premises at one time, all of that helps to paint a clearer picture of the magnitude of your responsibilities. Okay. And I'm looking at my phone because I'm looking to see if you're gonna put anything in the chat. But yeah, any type of numbers helps to paint the picture of the magnitude of your responsibility. So sometimes if I have like a small number or something, I might leave it out unless the something is significant. But if you're at an arena, you're having to manage like thousands, hundreds of thousands of people, right? So don't leave that out. Answer questions and provided information regarding events and direction as readers. This is a customer service bullet point. I would revise it because answering questions like, oh, I'm just answering questions. No, you're not just answering questions. You are providing a high quality um, attendee experience by providing relevant information. You see what I'm saying? Like you got to judge it up a little bit. Judge it up. Okay. Like this is the point. This is the resume is where you want to make everything sound like, and you did. You probably did. I'm sure there's things in your memory where you could say, oh, these people were so grateful. You helped them during that night or whatever. So just answering questions, anybody can answer questions, but how many people can provide a high quality event experience? Revise that bullet point so that you can so that it's the typical size arena amount of guests depending on the event. Yeah, so even if you have to give, so when you say typical size arena, I'm from Charleston, South Carolina. Our arena is not holding a whole bunch of people. But if you are in Washington, D.C. at the Capital One Arena, then that's a lot of people. Put the number, and you can say, whether it's a small event like from 1,000 attendees to 15,000 attendees. It's okay to put a range too, but like I said, numbers always help. Or provided event feedback to the responsible supervisor and reported suspicious. Okay, so some of these, I would want to combine some of these bullet points, not because, but just because they're not like as strong by themselves. If you can make them stronger, but otherwise, I would just probably combine them. Like provided high quality attendee experience by, you know, providing event information and giving feedback to supervisor, or and security or multiple stakeholders, something like that. I probably would combine these two bullet points and make them stronger. All right, leadership and relevant activities, Sigma Iota International Music Fraternity, corresponding secretary, communicated with the chapters. How many people were in your chapter, in your fraternity? Add that. Again, we got to show the magnitude, communicate with chapters within the state, share news and general correspondence. How often did you put out this correspondence? Like, how many are you sending like monthly emails? Are you sending weekly emails? Um, because all of that matters, right? Because now, again, we want to show the magnitude of your responsibility. Updates and preserves accurate chapter records, such as information on chapter members, guests, past correspondence. Okay. Planned events with other chapters in the area. Use surveys to collect. So, how many events did you all plan? Like, were you involved in planning on an annual basis? Right? How many other chapters did you work with? How many attendees came to those events? All of those things help to show how significant your impact was. And we always want to do that. Okay, so it doesn't have to be perfect, just giving an estimate, right? Sydney, you with me? Let me know you're understanding what I'm saying. All right, USC Marching Knights. Um, I'm assuming this was a UCF. I'm sorry, UCF. If you're gonna, so just general grammar writing thing. If you're going to use an acronym anywhere in your resume, make sure that you put the acronym next to the spelled out word the first time. So since you're going to use UCF here, right here, you should put UCF. You should just type in UCF right here so that they'll know what you're talking about. Okay? So just for anybody on here, anytime you use a acronym like NSBE, for example, instead of just writing NSBE and assuming everybody knows what NSBE is, you want to say National Society of Black Engineers, and then put in parentheses NSBE. NSBE, that's right. Yeah, NSBE. But just throwing in an acronym without saying what it is, we don't want to do that. We at least need to spell it out first and then give them one time. So just you can leave UCF here. Just make sure you spell it out here so that people will know what UCF is. Okay. All right, so UCF Marching Knights, Orlando, Florida media coordinator, enhanced brand and image of Marching Knights consistently on social media platforms such as Twitter. Okay. Um, I'm inclined to even put the number of people in the band or how many posts did you do with them? Like, because you said we were media coordinator for how often did you have to post? Like, were you doing multiple posts a day? Are you doing weekly posts? Um, again, like the frequency of something, frequency is another number in terms of data that we want to keep up with in our job. How often do you have to do something? All right, section and collaborate with other media coordinators to plan digital posts, boost all platform by 15%. You know what I want to say? What am I going to say? Boost engagement by 15% goes at the beginning of your bullet point by collaborating with other media coordinators. Okay. All right. Section leader assisted in leading 50 plus members within the section. Awesome. During rehearsals and game days to ensure section was prepared. You don't even have to put to ensure section was prepared. We know that you were leading them. And then why did you say assisted in leading? Because if you're the leader, are you just saying so if the I'm not a band person, so I don't know. If the drum major is the next person they report to, then I would just say led 50 plus members because you are that section's leader. So don't so what I'm the assisted part, take that out. You led those people. Yeah, every we all got a supervisor somewhere, but you responsible for those people. So you take that assisted out. Um Coached and mentored members with lesson planning, conducting, facilitating workshops. Okay. Resolve interpersonal conflicts and disputes within section. So I would say to move this as part of this bullet point. So enlist assisted in leading 50 members, resolving interpersonal conflicts, and boosting morale during game day performances and rehearsals. We always like you see like I know it'll make it well it wouldn't necessarily make it longer. It wouldn't make that bullet point longer, but it'll be less bullet points. Also, do you notice that your bullet points are different sizes? Okay, there was a section coordinator, head person in the section, and section leader under that. Okay. Um, they don't know that though. They don't know that. You can say you led them people, they don't know that. Um, one coordinator and four okay. Say you led it. You led it. Um, like again, this your resume is not where we're not downplaying what we did. Like you were involved, you led, people were looking to you for leadership. That's enough. Um, oh, what I was saying about your bullet points. Like these bullets seem to be smaller than these bullets. Can y'all see that? That's not my eyes, right? Like these bullets seem to be bigger than these, and then these are bigger than these. Just make sure you check your bullet sizes, just in case, because it looks a little off. Also, you see where you have Aug here, and then you spelled out August here. Just make sure you're keeping your dates consistent. So if you're gonna use the abbreviation here, use it here too. Um, your skills. This is a lot to digest. So much to digest. So that either means that we did not, some of this stuff should be in these bullet points, which some of them already are. You already said you use Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, so you don't need to put that here. What other one, what in this skills list can you incorporate into the bullet points at the top? Because all of it, like I'm not even finna, they're not finna read this. That's when I saw that, I was like, ooh, ooh. But think about Sydney. I want you to think about where you can take some of these things, um, Well, event planning, like you already said that you planned events, so you don't have to put event planning down here. Um, Customer relationship management. You already said you interact with the people at the arena. So you don't like we don't have to be redundant in our listing our skills when they're already in the resume unless they're like specific technical skills that the job description says we need. So if they say that they want somebody who can use Microsoft Office, then I'll leave it here. But usually if I haven't set it up here, if I've already set it up here, I'm not going to put it back down here because what happens is you end up with 20 skills that nobody can is going to read through. Okay. So just think about what down here can you put in here or what down here have you already said? And then because this should be no more than eight, eight is eight, 6 to 8 skills, unless you're going to separate them like the previous resume where they had like programming language and then some other stuff where you can say like, oh, this is specific to this. But 6 to 8 down here. And usually it shouldn't be anything that is already up here. Okay. Um, and I would just take list this as leadership activities. I wouldn't say relevant. I just say leadership. Okay. So, Mercy, are you still here? If you are, I'm gonna Sydney, think about any questions you have for me. Put them in the chat. Otherwise, Mercy, I hadn't had yours pulled up, so I'm going to pull yours up right now because I need to black out your personal information. So Sydney, any questions while I'm pulling up Mercy's? Okay, Mercy, you're still here? Yeah. So I'm pulling up yours now. I just need to um black out your personal information so nobody sees your email address and your phone number. All right, Mercy. And thank you for joining. So we got about 10 minutes to go through yours. I'm going to give me a second to share my screen. All right, Cindy, you said you have one question. Is it necessary to put Microsoft Office and put the specific applications I know? No. So if you're going to put, if just when you want to say that you know all of the applications, just put Microsoft Office Suite. And usually, people know what's included in the suite, which is the Word, the PowerPoint, the Excel, sometimes the publisher. But when you say Microsoft Office Suite, they know that all the other ones. All right. So Mercy, your name is small. Make it bigger. Okay. Now, Mercy, I didn't get because like I said, I hadn't pulled yours up initially, so I can't remember what you said. What is it that you want to go into? I'm glad you got it on one page. All right. So I'm assuming research policy, great internships. Oh, you're a McNair scholar. So I work with TRIO programs. So I always love to see anybody involved in the trio programs. Um, they're trying to get rid of McNair, which is devastating. But anyway, I'm so glad to see you're a McNair scholar. Listen, trio works. Okay. So we have reparations research summer intern, where you analyze federal, state, local policies to identify opportunities for local reparation initiatives, design and facilitate surveys and stories to collect and stuff. All right, so I would start with this bullet point. Um, you just started. Okay, so I see you probably so you don't have a lot to put in there, but how many surveys have you facilitated so far? I would be inclined to add that. And then who are you giving these surveys to? You said community stakeholders. So sometimes we can, if when we say like stakeholders, I'm inclined to, if the job description, if the job I'm applying for says stakeholders, then I use that word. If the job description says something specific and my stakeholders actually are the people that they're looking for, I will spell that out. For instance, one of some of the jobs I applied to want to know that I've worked with like state and local officials. So instead of using the word stakeholders, I will say specifically state and local officials. So I'm just saying because it was kind of like, well, who are you giving surveys to? Um, so if the job description asked specifically, I would, instead of saying stakeholders, I would list those titles or whoever those people are. Otherwise, this is fine. But it was kind of just came to my mind like, well, who you surveying? Okay. Advanced reparation efforts through targeted community reach. Okay. Um, I would be inclined to combine bullet points 1 and 3. I would start with bullet point 2, lead with that one, and then combine bullet points 1 and 3 into like one sentence, since it's kind of like an overview of what you were doing. Research assistant, maternal health in the U.S. Um, seeds and okay, recruited in okay, recruited facility conducted incident quality participants, ensuring advance here. Phase review, synthesize scholarly articles, contributed to research, compile, organize, coded, interview, and drafted research plan to complete. Okay, coordinated with faculty member and fellow assistants and faculty management. Okay, there's no numbers there, but this is fine. Colorado Capital Intern utilize legal and research data and content. So this bullet point here, I would make that first. Serving as a liaison, this you're like the second person that I see that had liaison experience and they either left it out or they put it below. Serving as a liaison is pretty significant because what it tells the employer is that you are able to communicate and build partnerships and relationships. So I would kind of lead with this one and then go into the other ones. Um, you see what I'm saying? All right. So McNair Scholar Research Fellow led an independent research project from conception to execution, conducted in-depth quality. Again, so it looks like you were just trying to put, like you're trying to just make sure that you have 3 bullet points per position. You don't necessarily have to keep the number of bullet points even for each position. Um, some things can be said in 2 bullet points. Some things take 6 to 8 bullet points. It just depends. Like, so I don't want you because it looks like you just like, well, let me make sure it's 3, 3, 3. I don't want you to do that. I want you to use as many or as let me say this, as few bullet points as you can to make your point clear. Okay. Sometimes that means adding more. Sometimes it means like I said, combining a few of these, like led an independent research project and conducted into, these are the same thing. These two bullet points are the same thing. So you can just, instead of saying conducted, you can say led in-depth quality research project from conception to execute to concept to execution, including interviews and such. You see what I'm saying, Mercy? Um, secure competitive grants. So how did you go about securing these grants? And the reason I asked that is because, and you know, McNair is a grant program. Wait, maybe you don't know, but the school that you did McNair at won a grant in order for that program to be there. Grants are a huge business. So if you were able to secure a grant, I'm interested to know, like, what did you actually write for it? Did you write a proposal to get this grant? Or was your name like submitted? Or like, how did you go about getting it? Because if you have grant writing experience, that's something that you want to put in there. And like I said, I don't know, but yeah. Um, and maybe you can tell me in the comments more about that so I can kind of help you clarify that. Okay. Volunteer experience. Marcia, have you been out of school for a while? Because you didn't put like the year. And usually when people don't put like the year they've been out of school, it's because they've been out of school for a while. All right, so volunteer experience, Action Council, Reproductive Freedom for All Georgia, support reproductive freedom efforts. First of all, I love this word. Just had to add that. All right, support reproductive freedom efforts through phone banking, stakeholder engagement, mobilizing young people and like that. So again, like I said, these two bullet points, you don't have to have two bullet points there. That could be one bullet point, especially since this is a volunteer. Um, especially since this is a volunteer, one bullet point is fine. So I would combine those. Same thing for the social impact director. One bullet point for your volunteer experience is fine. You can combine those. I secured additional grants from the school and outside sources by applying. You applied to grants, and if you had to, okay, so you had to explain the importance of your research and writing proposal. Mercy, tell those people that you know how to write for grants. Make that clear. So what you would say is wrote proposals for um whatever securing. Plus, you didn't tell us how much your grants were for. That's important too. Was it a $10,000 grant? Was it, I don't care if it was $1,000 grant. You got it. Road proposal to secure $10,000 worth of grants to fund research. Like you didn't even have to. Well, I mean, so I do like what you could say. Oh, another thing. You said and enable presentations at national and regional conferences. But did you present at these national and regional conferences? Because if you did, you also need to make that clear. That's a whole, like, you don't know how the number of job descriptions that I see that they want people to be able to present at national conferences or be able to present to leadership or be able to present. Like, that is a whole skill in itself. So if you did those things, that needs to be a bullet point by itself. Like I said, you can combine these first two, and then you could separate this one, making it clear that you wrote for those proposals, how much money those grant funds were. That's one bullet point. And then your third bullet point can be that you presented at X number of national conferences or X number of regional conferences. You see what I'm saying? That's a whole skill in itself. Yes, you presented. Okay, so now you know what to do. Okay, now you know what to do, right? Make that clear. All right, so education. So you have bachelor's, you got your GP. I'm assuming that's your GPA, 3.98. Just put GPA there. Make it clear. Don't have assume. GPA 3.98. Certificates, community health and medicine, and justice fellowship. Okay. Skills, grassroots organizing. So for your skills, I would just say grassroots organizing, qualitative and quantitative research and data analysis, and community outreach. You don't have to do all the explaining. Grassroots organizing, qualitative and quantitative research and data analysis, community outreach, community and legislative outreach. Those are your bullet points. Those are your skills. That's it. We don't need all the other stuff. And then you can put those in one line to give you a little bit more space. Leadership experience, African Student Union president, CU Denver Sociology Club co-founder and president. So, how many students were in your African Student Union? I'm gonna look for the answer in the thing. How many students? Because if it was a significant number of students that you were leading as their president, that would be something that I want to know. Um, and because you'll have more space, because like I said, you're gonna take some of these bullet points and you're gonna put them together. And when I say put them together, don't just like put them together and so that they're really long. Put them together and summarize them. But you'll have a little bit more space. So, and with the skills, like I said, when you're gonna consolidate those skills and take out all the explanations, you'll have a little bit more space. And I think I may want to know more about your leadership experience. Um, I see what you did with the dates too, because you ran out of space. I'm trying to see what we could do to maybe get you some more space so you don't, so you can keep the date layout how you have it. 75 to 100 members and 10 people on the leadership board. So if you have space, Mercy, after you've updated your bullet points, because we're at 7:01, I don't want to go too far over. I would 75 to 100 members is pretty significant, right? So that's something that I probably would want to list here, like president, the led events organization for 7,500 to up, let's just say approximately 100 members, whatever. I would want to see a little bit more here. And I would put this above your skills. So yeah, here's what I want you to do. Mercy, I'm gonna give you your homework. Move your education to the top. Consolidate your bullet points. Not all of these need to be three. Some can be two for your research policy and advocacy experience. Your McNair probably should be more than three because you have to tell them that you wrote for grants and that you and the number of conferences, that's another bullet point. So some of these are going to be two. McNair needs to be a little bit more. Um, leave your volunteer experience, actually put your leadership experience next, right? In your leadership experience, I want you to tell how many members and what you were responsible for doing, like coordinating events, um, correspondence, whatever it was. Just give me a little bit more here. Then put your volunteer experience, then your skills. You graduated in 2024. Should I put that on the resume? Um, 2024. That's yeah. Yeah, so I would put if you graduated in 2024, I would put that on the resume. Yeah. Like somebody like me who graduated 20 years ago, I'm gonna put that on the resume. But yeah, you should. So, Mercy, Any questions about anything I said here? Because we're at 7:03 and I don't want to go over. But I want to thank everybody who is on. It says 5 people are watching. I only been talking to Mercy and Sydney. So the rest of y'all who are watching, since we're about to log off, you can at least say good night. But and I'm looking up. I'm not looking at the camera. I'm looking up because I'm looking at your comments on my phone. But Mercy, any questions about anything that I said? Sydney, if you're still there, any questions about anything I said? Anybody else, even if I didn't review your resume, any questions about anything that I said? Because I want to make sure that I'm getting you all. All right, Sydney, thank you too, Sydney. Make those updates and make sure that you join me again. I think I have one more person or two more people who submitted. So next week if not next, yeah, it'll have to be next week. Mercy, know your free, but thank you, Mercy. Thank you. Okay, okay. All right. Well, I hope this was helpful for everybody. Thank you to everybody who was in the chat. Thank you for all of y'all, even the ones who didn't say hi to me. I know you're there and I appreciate you being there. Make sure you hit subscribe. Make sure you are sharing because I want to help as many students as I can. I know not everybody has the money to um, pay for my services because I do write resumes for students. I do write resumes for professionals, but those things cost money. So I do this once in a while to ensure that you can get at least some basic feedback to improve your resume. So, are we allowed to send you our updated resume for the next stream? Which you mean you want me to do it look at it again? Oh, Zabiru, hi. Hi, Zabiru. Zabiru, I'm about to send you your we're gonna be in touch soon. Um Zabiru is watching us from Canada. Canada up in here. Sydney, are you saying you want me to review it again? I mean, I could review it again, but you kind of have what you just want to make sure it's okay. Is that what you're saying? I'm waiting to see, but yeah. So make sure you're sharing, make sure you subscribe. The more people we could get on, the more resumes I have to review and the more feedback I can give. But, overall, I've been pretty impressed with the resumes that I've been getting. Nobody's like totally off track. It's just little things that we could do to improve it. Sydney, that I'm just waiting on you to see if that's what you mean. Okay, I mean, if you want to submit it again, you can submit it again. But hopefully my thing is if you submit it again, I won't have much to say, right? Because you would have made the updates, but you can submit it again if you want to. It'll be quick though, unless you just want to make sure that you did it correctly. Correctly. And I say correctly because I mean, you can show 10 people the same resume and everybody's gonna say something about it, right? Like everybody gonna have something to change about it. And so this is another thing. Before I log off, I don't want you all to internalize any feedback of changing, um, or like any rejections because there's so many things that go into hiring and your resume may not be the problem, right? Um, so many things are a matter of taste or a matter of, like I said, that other person that had like theirs bolded, and I've seen people say, I don't like it bolded. So, I mean, there's general rules and such, but really when it really just depends on the taste of the person, like what they prefer to see. So I'm just trying, but what I want to do, my goal is to always to help you tell your story in the best way and in the fastest way, right? That they're not having to comb through a bunch of stuff to figure out like, hey, you're qualified, you have skills, you are competent. Like I am a writer, so I am trying to say things clearly and concisely. That's what I'm doing. Okay. All right. So maybe Sydney means after we implement your. Yeah, I mean, if if you implement once you implement my feedback, if you want to submit it again, I'll look at it again. Um, but I am going to prioritize like people who haven't had theirs looked at just because, you kind of got your feedback. But yeah, if you want to submit it again, I'll look at it again. That's fine. Yep, sure will. All right. So again, thank you all. I appreciate you being on. I plan to be on next week. The week after that, I do not plan to be on. So which is that the week of like the 24th? I will not be on, and probably the week after that, I will not be on. But tell your friends still to submit their resumes. If you want to submit yours again, tell them to submit it because once I get myself settled, then I will be jumping back on the live doing these reviews. Okay? All right. Thank you all again. See you next time. We'll talk directly.